What's the Not Your Finest Hour podcast? What is that all? I mean, I've heard stories.
Not Our Finest Hour podcast. One I'll have to check out one of these days when I get a minute to listen to it. I've been told it's not for everyone. I don't know. It's just the general reviews I hear on it, but it has been getting really good reviews.
And I've never personally listened to it, but I have heard it's not for everyone.
I listened to the Not Our Finest Hour podcast. Just great podcast. I've really enjoyed that.
I'm not endorsing anything. From what I said, from what Caleb told me, he said don't endorse anything unless you listen to it first.
I do once in a while listen in, and it's a lot of fun. But I do got to be careful. It is not for everyone.
Caleb Allman is always dropping notes that it's one of the most value-added shows out there.
Of course, through all the Not Our Finest Hour, you guys poking fun at so much different stuff is absolutely killer.
I don't feel any oppression tonight. In fact, I feel very free. The Not Our Finest Hour podcast. Thanks for being here.
Welcome to the beginning of the podcast, where I think it's only appropriate for me to immediately report on my meeting of a strategic partnership with LMN and how my meeting went. You guys interested in my meeting and how it went?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So basically what happened was I got ultra involved working on my business. In my business, not on my business. And I looked down and I'd forgotten about the meeting. So the meeting didn't happen. There was no strategic partnership meeting. Now, I will say that Angelica from LMN was very understanding of my situation. And perhaps she realizes that I'm a fuck show. And my chances of attending that meeting were minimal at best. So I rescheduled for another meeting tomorrow. What do you think the chances are that I attend that meeting?
Did you put it in your calendar?
I never put anything in my calendar.
Oh, it's a great way to miss everything.
I'm not good at business.
Did Kelly go to the meeting for you instead?
No, because then there won't be a meeting because she has very little interest in this meeting. I asked her about it. She said, I'm already dealing with so many programs. I don't need any more programs to deal with. I'm fucking good. If this is your thing, go for it. But do not involve me in it in any way.
How is it going to work then if you pump the tires on LMN, but you don't use them because Kelly does all the administrative stuff?
Well, I can use it for quotes and stuff.
True. Does Kelly do any quotes?
No. Well, I process it and then she
Writes it up.
She puts it into the paperwork thing because I suck at that. I've concluded that there's at least like 85% of my business I'm terrible at. Like, I mean, awful. If it wasn't for people like Kelly and Jack, there would be no business.
Yeah.
I'm in no way capable of running this business on my own.
I don't think that's a bad thing. Nobody runs a monster company on their own.
I don't think this is a monster company.
What are your sales? You said a couple million?
I think we're going to be 2.7 this year.
Yeah. To a lot of people, that's a monster, right? Like, we're talking little landscapers who run like $500,000 a year. You know, three guys, maybe 2 trucks if they're lucky, dump trailer. Their next big purchase is an equipment trailer. Like, to those guys, you're a monster company. 9 guys, monster company.
I guess in a really small pond.
That's how many monster landscape companies do you know?
Do I know?
You can probably count them on one hand.
I guess that's all relative, like you're saying, though.
Yeah.
Like if you're saying a monster landscape company is 2.5 million in sales, then.
Well, I'm not talking like the biggest of the big. I understand that there are companies here with 50 guys and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Who are real monsters. but I'd say I wouldn't shake a stick at someone who runs a $2 million company. I think that's an achievement.
Yeah,
I remember
it's something.
the first time we hit 1 million. I'm like, holy shit, we made it. We're great, And now
Mhm.
1 million's like, if I don't hit that by July, I'm like, ugh, we're having a rough go, But it's all relative.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I guess in theory, from 2 years ago, we're down 1 million, but from last year, we're up 1 million.
All right. 2 years ago, it wasn't hard to sell a couple million.
No, I think 2 years ago, I just had a lot more stuff going on. Like 2 years ago, when we did 3.5, I think we just had a lot more shit going on and a lot more headaches and a lot more. So, and then the next year, we obviously had the bottom got pulled out of our upside down pyramid and there was a large collapse.
And that's enough to bankrupt a lot of guys.
For the lack of better way to put that. Like there's I don't know, I just never see the world like that. I always feel like it's not, maybe it is hard. I don't know. I always feel like I always feel like if anyone decided to, they could just do whatever I'm doing and it would be super easy for them. But maybe that's not true.
No. Because if you died today and one of your top 3 guys was like, you know what? I can do what Mike did, and he took over the company. Do you ever think that thing would succeed?
Well, it depends what you classify as like
maintaining the level of sales and service that you have to get yourself through the rest of the season without completely nosediving.
Well, but when you're saying top 3 guys, I believe that without me, Jack and Kelly could successfully run the landscaping business.
Who would go in every morning and tell all the workers what they have to do?
Probably Jack.
But who would get in the bin truck whenever someone needed a bin?
Well, so that's a separate entity. That, to me, that's a separate company. We're not talking about that company.
Or is it?
Well, no, I just think it's a separate entity. The bin division is a separate entity from the landscaping division, is a separate entity from the triaxles.
Are they all separate companies?
No, they're all one company.
Well, but they're one landscape company.
No,
you attribute that 3.5 million or whatever to the same company.
Okay, but I'm saying those are different divisions within a company.
Yeah.
Procter & Gamble will give you an overall sales of 2 billion, but that's a whole bunch of divisions contributing to that.
Yeah, they're all separate corporations, shielded and moved around. I'm
sure there's super complex stuff that strategic partners of LMN know about that I don't.
Maybe if you didn't miss your meeting,
if I didn't miss my meeting, maybe they were going to. I think that the landscaping division would be fine, and I think that Kelly can continue the administration side that she's really good at, and Jack can continue the administration side, and either Jack would take over meeting the guys in the yard, because those are things that need to happen for his survival.
Yeah.
And if I die and everyone's in survival mode, then someone that works of the 6 permanent field staff members, I guarantee someone's going to step up to the plate and take control, because they have to. That's what they need to do to survive. And the bin truck division, Cody is more than capable of taking that over anytime and running it. Like, I don't know what I add to her day other than some painful extravaganza of me telling her she needs to be at the yard by 7:15 or 7 o'clock on a daily basis.
That's a great testimony to how important she is to your business.
What?
The fact that you could die and she could take over the whole thing.
Oh, and the triaxle division, if I die, Christy will just take it over.
It
And
sounds to me what you're saying is Paver King Enterprises is sellable.
Well, it's not Paver King Enterprises. It's Paver King Limited.
Sorry, Paver King Limited is
Paver King Enterprises is Paver King Enterprises is a defunct sole proprietorship that still owes the government a pile of money in SIBA loans. Okay, just to straighten out what Paver King Enterprises is.
What's the benefit of being a limited liability company?
Nothing other than you're deferring tax. The only benefit of it is tax deferral.
So why not be a straight up corporation?
Well, corporation and a limited company are the same fucking thing.
Are they?
Yeah.
I didn't
It's
know
just
that.
a different name.
I always thought they were different.
Maybe they are. Maybe I'm wrong. Again, we're delving into things that I should talk about at a strategic partnership meeting. I don't know that much. I don't know that much. Like, I know when you change to you can call it like I could have called it Paver King Incorporated, or I could have called it Paver King Limited, or I could have called it Paver King something else. And I had to pick one of those three things. And Limited seemed the least ridiculous for a tiny landscaping company. So that's what I called it.
I thought it had to do with something about you having limited liability with the company, but it's still not a corporation, which I could be completely wrong too.
You could be completely right.
Well, I've been wrong and I've been right. So yeah, 50.
When we started this, there was three choices: Limited, or it could have been Paver King Inc., which sounded ridiculously like a Disney movie. Monsters Inc., Paver King Inc.
I'm NDL.
Making some kind of cartoon. Like, we're all running around in AI cartoon. I don't know. I'm not saying that NDL Inc. doesn't sound like, if you want to sound like a Disney movie, absolutely. You do your thing, bro.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with being a Disney movie. It's fucking crazy profitable.
Woke.
NDL is a woke landscape.
Woke landscape company.
So talking up my ass here, because I don't know if a corporation and a limited company are different or the same. Mike?
I think in Canada it doesn't matter. You have a choice, and it doesn't reflect anything in terms of anything. As far as I know, I could also be talking out of my ass, but
no one comes here
when
for this
I
kind of advice.
incorporated, you just had a choice of all these different ends, and it said that it didn't matter which one you chose.
Are you guys numbered companies, or are you actually your landscape company Inc. or Limited?
We are actually Paver King Limited.
Yeah, I'm Natural Design Landscapes Incorporated. No number.
A numbered would be if you have an umbrella corporation, right?
I think any corporation can be numbered, and then you're just acting as like Natural Design or 1087259 Ontario Limited or Canada Limited, acting as Natural Design Landscapes.
Anytime I have encountered a numbered company, it's because they have other corporations underneath them. So, for example, the owners of my previous supply company that is no longer existent, they own a storage facility. They own other businesses, and whenever they invoice me, it's from a numbered company, but they have all these other corporations as well underneath them.
I have, like, whenever I do invoicing and stuff, sometimes they'll ask me to invoice a numbered company. And so from my drop-down menu, there's like 50 numbered companies, and I can never tell who is who. Every time I have to invoice someone, it drives me nuts.
You should have a nickname option.
Yeah, I should have a nickname option. The main difference between an LLC and a corporation is that an LLC is owned by one or more individuals, and a corporation is owned by its shareholders.
So that might be US based. I don't know if you.
Yeah, I don't think we refer to things as LLC here.
No.
Limited liability company?
No. We just have corporation, sole proprietorship, and partnership. And then you can call any of your corporation corp, limited, LTD, or whatever the other one is. And also, we don't have the same rules of the states where you can't like pierce the corporate veil. there are ways around that. Obviously, the easiest one would be that if you did mix your business and personal expenses, but that would also be the States. Canada, it's a little bit easier to be able to pierce that corporate veil.
Well,
In terms of like protection of you getting sued and stuff, I like from what I understand, incorporating doesn't help you at all.
Hmm.
If you're the president or the like, and if like one of our trucks drove through a school bus, being incorporated or limited isn't going to help me.
Yeah.
That's what I'm sending a picture. I guess I should maybe send it to your phone, Mike, or
Ooh, you can text me.
well, I put it into the group chat. I don't know if you can access it from there, and then we can put it up on the screen. So Zachary Sweet was DMing me about what was he DMing me? He DM'd me and said, "Would you review my truck on their podcast and give an opinion on it if I send you a picture of the truck?" I thought this is a great. Zachary Sweet had a great idea. We
that is
can
great.
rate people's rides, and he's looking for. He enjoys hearing me talk about the trucks because I appears I really care about them, which I do. And they seem like they're looked after, and I take pride in my equipment. So he wanted to see what kind of advice we would give you on the truck. So that's his first dump truck, and
His current
he's
dump truck, like he still has this.
yeah. I think he just got it. It's his first dump truck. It
Oh,
is.
wow.
It's a 1987 S1600 International 6.9 liter motor with an auto tranny, which I find for 1987 to have an auto tranny, that's pretty wild.
Yeah, that is wild.
Like, that's
That
wild.
truck is older than you.
Then who, me?
No, Mike Platts. That truck is older than you.
Sorry, what was the year? I zoned out.
87.
1987.
Wow. Okay.
What year were you born, Mike?
90.
I was talking to today. I went to look at a retaining wall for one of our clients, and I was talking to their project manager, and the retaining wall was in Pickering, and I called him with a couple questions because it's like the only road in and out of the property. So I said, "Hey, are like we allowed to block this? Like, what are the rules here? Because this is going to get kind of intense." And he said, "We." I said, "Oh, this is good. It's in Pickering. It's close to us." I said, "Actually, I grew up around here," and he was like, "Oh yeah." And then, in talking to him, I just said to him, I said, "How old are you?" And he's like, 26. I was like, "Yeah, so like before you were born, I used to hang around in the car stereo shop across the street when I was working on my 1990 Mustang, whatever the fuck it was." Like 15 years before you were even born. I was like, "Oh my god." Anyways, this truck reminded me of that. So I think that this is a great truck. Personally, I think this is a great truck to start out with. It's reliable and simple.
I'm worried about parts if you ever need shit, right? Like, they gotta be, oh, we don't make that anymore. It's in 1987. But it's a
Maybe.
beautiful truck for what it is, like 1987. Oh shit, it's in great shape. We had one exactly like that rotting at the yard. I think we still do. And it looks nothing like that.
So he's saying, should he paint it his company colors and put his logo on it? I think he should.
I think he needs aluminum rims.
I think you need to paint it your company colors and you need to put your logo on it, because even if it's an older truck and maybe you only keep it for 2 or 3 years, it's still, to me, it's still worth it to paint it and put your company logo on it. And
I
That's
would
what
I would disagree on that just to provide some sort of
Okay.
disagreement here. I would say if this is just like a 2-year truck and you are only like a owner operator or one crew, I would just run it into the ground, maybe slap a logo on it, and then just save up for that next truck where then you would actually brand it. But I don't think that having one truck on the road is worth enough awareness to just put, invest that much money to paint it and put a logo on it.
I want to split the difference. You're going to wrap it for half the cost of painting it.
It's cheaper to paint it.
No, not that body style. Look at how flat that is.
Maybe. I don't know.
I don't know. The wrap guys around here would be cheaper than paint.
Maybe they would. I don't. It's so weird. Like, I don't. Maybe they would be. Maybe that's a good idea. Wrap it, paint it. Maybe you could change your company color to blue.
Just
Oh,
wrap
yeah.
the door.
Yeah, or just change your company color to blue. I think
Yeah.
it's an awesome truck. I'd be super pumped if I had that truck.
I like that blue. I like it stands
I
out.
do like that blue.
Yeah.
And that blue is very much appropriate to the age of that truck. Like that
I
color
agree.
of blue in 1987, like it's very appropriate to the age of the truck. If you want to see the truck, we would recommend you go to our YouTube channel, like all 4 people did last week, and watch this on the YouTube channel when Mike gets it up 3 months from now.
No, I've been on top of them.
You have
I've been on top of them.
all of Chad's faces were in my YouTube feed this week. So I went over to the channel and I saw that like we are pulling in a solid 6 to 7 views per episode. So I think that, in my opinion, Zachary Sweet's dump truck is awesome.
Yeah, I think I like it.
I think it's sick.
As somebody who knows nothing about trucks and equipment, I love it.
I think that's a good motor. It's a good setup. You got to start somewhere. Yeah, I think it's great.
It's bigger than my first dump truck. I had a 7.3 F550, which still runs around town. We sold it to another landscaper.
I was just seeing where he was from.
He's from New Brunswick, I think, eh?
Nice.
Zoom me up on that license plate.
Zoom in and enhance.
Should we
Looks
be
like
doing that?
Brunswick.
Probably not. Well, he did send us the picture. Did
I
he
don't
ask us to? Yeah, I don't think
Every
he
time
asked.
someone's selling something, they put their thumb in front of the license plate.
Yeah,
Like they're trying to block it. Who gives a shit?
you
about-
drive on the road, everybody sees it.
Yeah, everybody sees it anyway. They can't do anything with a license plate number.
Exactly.
I guess they could look up where you live and then come and steal it.
How can they do that?
I don't think they can.
I don't think you can.
Yeah.
You
think
don't
that-
think that people can hack into a database and get where your license?
I think that if you can hack into a database,
I don't
you
know
can
what
get much
world
more
you-
valuable things than
Yeah, like
searching up a
Yeah,
license plate. and
some
finding
dude's
somebody's
Ferrari?
address.
and stealing some dude's Ferrari.
yeah, I don't know. I guess some people have a lot of time on their hands.
Yeah.
I think yes, Moncton, New Brunswick. Go Zachary Sweet. I think that truck's awesome.
Yeah, I like it.
So, have you guys noticed anything about my notes on Instagram?
I don't see anybody's notes.
I thought it
I'm
was
still banned.
It's been the same note for 2 or 3.
I know. I was waiting for someone to say something about it, but no one has. And then I concluded maybe no one cares.
What's the note?
Just says Harambe.
Oh, okay. I've seen that every time I log into my I'm a Hardscaper. I see that. Yeah.
Where it comes up and says Harambe.
I have been meaning to ask you, and that came up in a podcast I was listening to today.
The
What
fact
is that?
the fact that I've been putting the word Harambe in my notes.
No. Just somebody
That came
talked
up in
about it.
some random podcast.
Yeah, and then I thought, you know what? I need to ask PK what that is.
So did they bring up I was using the word Harambe, or they brought up the
No.
word
This
Harambe?
is a random one. What were they talking about? They were talking about memes and how
In 2016.
things changed when Harambe became a meme.
In 2016, a young boy fell into a gorilla pit, And Harambe the gorilla went to
Right.
protect him, and they shot him dead. And he never had a chance. And that's when Harambe became a meme. And then there's a lot of Harambe memes. And so because he was raised right, Nate was shopping for school, and he was at the thrift shop shopping for school, and he found a Harambe belt, and he bought it, and he started wearing his Harambe belt to school. And that's when I saw the Harambe belt, like around the time of school, and then I've been putting Harambe in my notes every day, just to remind people that he died for all of us. He did it for all of us. Harambe was one of the greatest memes ever. I can't believe you don't know what it was, Mike.
As soon as you say the story, I remember the story.
It was in Cincinnati. It was all happening in Cincinnati.
So I worked for a supplier back in 2007. That's how I got introduced to the industry. Fast forward 17 years, that supplier is closing their doors December something.
Any
Yeah.
context to it? Like, is it
What's that?
is it
Context?
the economy, or is it just because?
Yeah, I think just things really slowed down and they didn't want to do another year of a slowdown, so they decided. So how long ago was it? 3, 4, 5, probably 5 years ago. No, yeah, 5 years ago they sold. So the previous owners, they are the ones that, as far as I understand, are the ones that created like Wallstone, Grande Wall. They manufactured it there. They sold it there. They were a manufacturer and a supplier. Then they sold the manufacturing to Hanson, which became Navistone.
Yes.
And then Hanson sold it to
Permacon.
Old Castle, which became Naviscape, or maybe it's still Navistone. Well, one or the other. But they always kept the storefront. So the storefront became this stone place. And I worked there from 2007. And then my manager left in 2018. And they sold it in 2018, 2019 to another family member, and he didn't want to continue it, I guess, moving into 2025. That's the context as I know it.
One of our brickyards is for sale too.
Oh, really?
Which one?
The one I shop at.
Oh.
All right.
This is the second supplier in 2 years in our area that's gone out of business. Just shut down, not sold.
Oh, they're trying to sell ours. It's in a great location. And,
Think Site One will step in there.
I don't know. I thought they were in
Depends
talks.
what the sales is.
Yeah. Maybe I should just quit installing and be a brick dealer. Great idea or terrible idea? I don't know if I could. I don't like people.
That's probably a bad idea.
Like,
yeah.
Wow. No, thank you.
I think there's a lot of deterrence to doing that.
Yeah. Yeah. Imagine contractors owing you money. I already have contractors owing me money. Imagine you sell them stuff and you can never recoup your money. They never end up.
Imagine that.
There are there are so many poor landscapers.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine what that would be like.
Well, I
can't even fathom it.
$400,000, but the brickyard is probably owed 6 or 7. You know, and the guy who never pays their bills, you don't want to not sell to them because they'll go somewhere else, right? But you also don't want to help them dig their hole deeper. You want to get some money out of them.
Could you be a supplier, Chad, and a contractor? Do you think you could get enough contractors in your area to buy from you?
I don't think.
Or do you think that would cause a conflict of interest for them?
Someone tried to do that before. The owner of our brickyard tried to install as well.
Yeah.
And I don't think it works. I don't think you can. Right.
So one big contractor, I don't think they do it anymore, but they became a dealer. only to be able to get dealer rates for the product and to be able to get that discount, to be able to just sell it at cost or install it at cost.
That happens a lot.
Yeah. But to do that, they had to keep up a storefront because they had to service retail and so on and there. So
I could have a storefront. But
right by your house.
yeah, perfect. People come in. Oh,
I don't think that would be
front
great.
door.
Yeah.
Do you have any more black banding? Yeah.
See you swimming in in your pool. They just drive on up.
I can't think of a worse thing to happen. Oh, thank you. No. I was talking to a client that we finished a job for last week. I talked about this one a bit. It was the Flora job,
Oh yeah.
like a block Flora patio, and I never got any good pictures of it because as soon as it was done, maybe before it was done, out came all the patio furniture. Right? Just boom. You wake up one morning, show up to site, and it's covered in patio furniture. Like the cover is on the fire bowl that we brought in, like everything. Just there's no good shots of the patio anymore, right?
Yeah.
Never got any good shots of this one. But he's a client that we've had from 10 years ago. And he's like, wow, you've really grown. You've done a lot in 10 years. The guys are really passionate and stuff like that. And we got to talking, and tell me what you think of this advice. Everybody has like labor problems and shit like that, right? So he was telling me, he says, and he used to own a hotel. He was saying he went to a conference, and this is how they broke it down for him. He's like, if you have 10 guys, 3 of them are your all-stars. 5 of them are just there to get by and they'll do a good job. And 2 of them are almost useless. And I said, holy shit, I could name everyone that you just mentioned. I know who my 3 all-stars are. I know my 5 others. And I know we don't have, because we're only a 9-man crew. And I know the guy who's completely useless. That's very accurate. And then I said, yeah, sometimes I just can't stand the one that's useless and stuff like that. He's like, the best thing you can do is not give him any of your time. Like, that's like, I don't respond to his text messages and shit like that. Like, he's just not worth the time. He's like, you can't reward his shitty behavior with your time at all. Anything you have to tell the guy goes through one of your 3, one of your all-stars, right? And then the message gets relayed. But you're no longer talking to this bottom feeder who was just there. And ultimately, they just weed themselves out. I thought that was the coolest thing. But I don't know if everyone can run their business like that. But it worked for me. And obviously, it worked for this guy who ran a successful hotel for 40 years.
It's usually the bottom feeders that try to take up as much of your time, too.
Yeah, they do, right? So, like, if you can eliminate them from taking up your time, eliminate the contact, the conversation, all that stuff, they can still stay until they are dismissed without, what is it? What do you call it?
Cause.
Without cause. But they no longer have to take up your time. And I've had such an easier time since realizing that. I just delegated to the all-stars to get rid of these guys.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be easier just to get rid of the guy? Going through the whole rigmarole of, and I don't know, it's being devil's advocate, I guess. Like, I don't think that's particularly great advice.
I thought it works for me.
I think great advice is just get rid of the guy.
Yeah, I could.
Like, why are you wasting the time and effort of your all-star?
You're not.
If it's a waste of your time and effort to deal with this person, it is immediately inherently a waste of the time and effort of the all-star person to deal with that person, and the person should just be eliminated.
I'm under the assumption that the all-star has a little more time than I do.
But why would you want them spending any time on that? If a person is so unproductive that you won't even speak to them, why would you want anyone in your company to spend any time with them?
Okay, they're not. Let me take a step back. They're not completely useless, but sometimes they can be very useless, and they take up a lot of my time.
I think it comes down to, are they useless and a bad like culture fit? If they're bringing other people down with them, that's when you might want to get rid of them.
Yeah, I've been lucky that the guys are, for the most, like, I found out who can work with who.
Right now, so this argument is valid 2 years ago when there was no people.
Right.
This
Yeah,
argument was very valid 2 years ago when there was no people. Eliminate this person with your time, give it to your all-star person, make them deal with this ridiculous person. But the argument to me in the current state of affairs isn't valid because you could replace that person in 24 hours with someone probably more qualified that could become an all-star. So why spend any time on this person?
I'm just gonna let it ride out because I don't have the time to not that, and I don't want to pay the week's severance or whatever it is that.
So you'd rather have a shitty employee for 6 weeks than pay someone who's shit to get lost?
We've talked about this before, yeah.
Maybe just for the
Gonna
rest
let
of
them
the
ride out,
season,
and
or if this was back in April, if this was back in May, would you have let them go?
no, if this was in May, then that's a
Gone.
little too long to hold on and fucking bear it.
Yeah, but you could also
Yeah.
fire them with cause.
Yeah, then you have to pay them a
Then you
week.
don't have to pay them anything.
Yeah,
If you can fire someone with cause, you don't have to pay them a penny,
with cause, yeah. Yeah.
right?
I gotta
I
find
don't want to go through that.
I feel deeply recently that everyone keeps employees way too long. Like keeping someone for 8 weeks, losing money on them every week because you don't want to give them a week's salary, you're better just to turf them out the door. It's short, it's sweet, it sends a good message to the rest of the people. Don't fuck around, don't be an idiot, or I'll just turf you out the door. Keeping someone who's shit for the next 6 to 8 weeks, all you've taught everyone that works for you is you can be a piece of shit and keep your job here.
Let's test this with Chad.
Yeah.
No, I'm being real about it. I'm just saying, like, if you have, how many employees do you have?
9.
So you have 9 people. 8 of them are competent and one's a moron. That's what we're getting at.
Yeah.
So those 8 people are looking at that moron every single day that you keep them, and they're going, I could act like that and keep my job. And sooner or later, slowly, not quickly, slowly, that will start to creep into everyone's behavior. It's an inevitable conclusion of human existence.
Oh. You haven't met my guys.
I'm telling you, it's an inevitable conclusion of human
No,
existence. And I'm not saying that
either a worker or you're not. And the
No,
true
but-
workers can't penetrate them with shitty work ethic and have them turn to shit.
but maybe they take an extra. I'm not saying that they turn complete shit, but I'm saying they become subtly less productive. I'm not saying that you take someone who's an amazing worker and put them with a total piece of garbage that you refuse to fire because you don't want to give them $1,000 to get rid of them. And you don't, the one thing about giving someone $1,000 or whatever, like a week's pay to get rid of them, you know what that does? It makes you pay for your mistake. It was your mistake to hire that person. It was your mistake to keep that person. And if you don't pay for your own mistakes, you will keep repeating them over and over and over again.
Caleb's
So-
corner.
What?
So the
Caleb's
season's
corner.
I don't know that that's good advice. Caleb might say that. I think it sounds like something he would say. I'm just saying that you take someone who's, say your best person is operating at 100%, right? And then you stick them with someone who's a total piece of garbage that you've established. And then that person works with that person every day. The person that's 100% isn't going to go down to 20%, but they might go to 95%. That one person is dragging everyone in the company down 5%.
If you I shuffle the deck too often.
I think it's unrealistic for you to think that the other 8 guys don't know that that person's useless every time they go out the yard with them.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
You could ask the question and they'll tell you exactly who's the useless one.
Hmm.
But,
I'm just saying,
yeah,
like, to part ways with, you're losing more than $1,000 a week keeping that guy.
I don't think so. I don't think I'm losing more than
You
$1,000 a
think you're
week.
making any money off the guy?
Um, I'll let you know whenever these big walls are built. There should still be money left over, yeah.
You could, but if you had a more productive person instead of this person, you could have made more money. I'm just saying that every landscaping company on the planet, every landscaping company that I know, everyone keeps people way too long that aren't productive. Me included. I'm not throwing rocks from my glass house.
Yeah. Yeah. But at the end of the season, it's carte blanche to restructure your entire company if you
Do you
want.
think that you don't get rid of that person because it makes you feel bad?
It makes me feel bad.
That's what I'm saying. There's no legitimate reason. Like, you have $140,000 pickup truck. What do you really care about giving this person $1,000 to get the fuck out of your company? I'm just saying in relation to those two things. You like, who cares about giving this person $1,000 to get lost? It's probably be the best, most productive thing you'll do for the company all year.
Potentially, yeah.
So,
My
but you won't do it over the $1,000. So, or will you not do it because it makes you feel bad to tell that person to get lost?
the
Because
real honest reason I can build whatever the fuck you want out of landscape material. I can build shit that I've never just off a drawing, right? Give me the drawing, I'll build it, right? My HR skills and my whatever skill, like whatever skills you need to hire and fire and all this shit are god awful.
mine too.
I can work with them when they're there, but the logistics of who can we keep and how can we fire them and how can we uh push them out the door or what do we need to do? Like I'm consulting with people who know how to do this shit. Right? Like that is my weak point. Is
this
getting rid
year.
of people.
This year, we hired someone to drive the Blue International in the spring, and I am shit at this too, same as you. I used to be really good at it. When I was younger, I used to go through 100 people a year. If you did one thing that pissed me off, I told you get on the fucking bus and get lost. I used to throw, I have like thrown money at people or told people get in that truck and drive that fucker to the bus stop and kick him out his fucking ass out of the truck. And people have done that. Driven people to the bus stops and get the fuck lost. Mike doesn't want you on the property anymore. I used to be good at getting rid of useless people. And then I guess I got softer as I got older, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so this year I drove into the yard and this person that had said they had lots of experience and had lots of stuff going on, Christy was like drawing in the dirt, teaching this person how to back up this truck. And I just looked over there and I was like, man, my softness is going to get someone fucking killed because this motherfucker does not know what he's doing. And I have to get rid of this amazing person, really nice person, on time, punctual, just probably good at something in life, just not good at driving dump trucks. So I fired that person and I felt horrible about it, but I agree. I didn't want, I was in my mind, I was trying to find some way that this person could stay. But I'm like, he can't stay. He can't perform the work. And then
He said he could perform the work.
he, during the interview process, had the impression that he could perform the work. Yeah. Had the right license, had the right experience, had the right recommendations.
Really?
Yeah. Just,
Where did the wires get crossed? Like,
I think
was he
that,
not confident in the truck? Like,
I think he just wasn't. They're big trucks. And maybe they're like a DZ license, you can drive a tiny box truck and make a living. And maybe you think that that's the same as driving a big dump truck that weighs 36,000 kilograms. It's not the same. It,
no.
And so I was hesitant, but I was like, okay, this is what has to happen. And I'm the boss. So off he went. And then the same thing, but I think that I have spent too much time hanging on to people that aren't the right fit, too much time hanging on to people that don't want to get to the party line, too much time hanging on to people that don't listen to what I'm telling them. That has a adverse effect on the whole company and all the people. And you can think that it doesn't, and you can think that it's having no effect on the 8 people that go to work with one useless person all the time. But at the end of the day, you know that it does. And it would affect you if someone was forcing you to work with a useless person every single day at some point.
So you get rid of them, get rid of the useless person. Do the other guys bounce back to 100% or 95%? Or
I think that they do. A lot of people, the problem is with every decision is that I've had this discussion with my daughter frequently. You can make the decision or it can get made for you.
yeah,
Like if you just don't do anything, something will get decided.
That's
If
a 5.
What?
It's a 5. 1 to 3, or 1 to 5. Can't choose 3. That's a 5.
Oh, okay.
I think that's Confucius, is it not?
I don't know. It's certainly not a quote directly from
Confucius,
fucking
eh?
Mike Pennington. I'm sure that someone else said it to me. This scenario has nothing to do with NDL necessarily right now, right? But it's just, we're talking about this. So you can say, you know what, I'm hesitant to make a decision to get rid of this person. It makes me feel bad. It's not a school and I think that's a really legitimate reason. And I think that's something that, most business owners don't discuss, is that getting rid of people's hard and shitty, and it makes people feel bad about themselves. I'll say it. It makes me, I'm shit at it too. I'm not good at it. It makes me feel, when I was younger and I didn't give a fuck about anyone, it was easy. But now I care about people and I want them to be successful and I'm trying to build a team. And it sucks to punish people in any way or have hard conversations with anyone about anything. I just did it yesterday. Not fire, but I had a conversation yesterday with one of the foremen. Hey, man, we got to get more fucking productive on this job. We have other places to be. We have other places to go. We got to get done. And it was a shitty conversation to have, but I was like, okay, this has to happen. And maybe last year I would have just driven out of the yard and left it alone and said fucking nothing. But this year I was like, okay, we got to start addressing things more frequently, because at the end of the day, all these people are dependent on this company to earn a living too. So, but going back to your scenario, let's say that you don't make a decision and you just keep things going the way they are, which whatever, or in this scenario, at some point, one of those people, of those 8 people, might be like, I'm tired of this, so I'm going to make the decision for Chad and I'm going to quit. And I'm going to start looking for another job because I'm tired of being with this loser who doesn't pull his weight. And the decision will get made for you, essentially, because you didn't make a decision on it. But I also feel your pain because I fucking hate having those kind of conversations.
Yeah. I have faith that my other guys will get me through the season without deciding that that's it for them. They understand things are fluid in the company, and just because you're here now doesn't mean you're here forever, and people come and go. But my rock solid core seem to have stuck it out for 5+ years, all of them. So, I mean, my inner circle is, well, I'd like to think they are with me through thick and thin a little bit. Whenever they need something, I'm always there for them. Yeah. So, I mean, and if the less than stellar employee sort of shakes things up for the other guys at the bottom, then it's not like they're not replaceable either, right? So,
how bad does someone have to be for you to get rid of them? Or you would always just wait the season out and say, I'll deal with it.
I don't. There's a line. I just don't know what it is.
Have you ever exited someone mid-season and said,
no, they
done?
Always find a way to do it themselves. Whether it's through giving them the shitty jobs or something like that, they always find a way to stop coming in to work. you know. So, here's something that came up. An employee messaged me saying they weren't getting enough hours and the pay wasn't good enough, so they were looking for another job. But sure, no problem. Let me know if you need time off to go to your other interviews. I don't know. Do you think that was an earnest thing, or do you think he was trying to bait me for more money?
So
I
do
think
you,
if he brings it up, he wants to bait you a bit.
how many hours? How many more hours could you give this person? Like what? It obviously we all know from watching your Instagram that you don't have a shortage of work currently.
Well, no, we have a lot of work right now and a lot of work for the next month or two, but I don't know if we'll make it till December unless something big comes in. But
Yeah, but I'm saying in this current moment, like we're talking like he's saying he's not getting enough hours right now.
no, they work 9
But
hours.
from all appearances, they work 9 hours a day,
Yeah, that's
and
right.
he wants 10 hours a day.
I don't know. A lot of other sites, the guys that work 7 to 5 or so. It just depends what job you're on, right? I would have been stoked 7 to 4 whenever I was growing up.
Why are they working 7 to 4? The general contractor says that's what's allowed.
No, our partner's guy who is running the site is a veteran who doesn't work past 4, usually. That's and if that's the only rule that he's got on the job, if it saves me from having to be there 10 hours a day every day, then I can deal with that.
I don't think it's unfair. It's not like the person's working 3 hours and going home.
Yeah, I mean 45 hours a week is, I think it's a nearly full week in the landscape scheme of things.
Yeah, but couldn't that person say, instead of threatening you, couldn't they have said, "Hey, Chad, working 45 hours a week and I'm not getting my bills paid. Do you mind if I come in on Saturday? Could you give me a list of things you need done around the yard on Saturdays? And
Yeah,
I'll put in my 5 to 8 hours then."
at one point he was going to do that. He asked for extra time washing trucks and stuff like that. Yeah, sure, no problem. Come on Saturday, Sunday, whatever. Get the truck.
But he never did it.
He did it one weekend.
Okay.
One weekend.
So you've offered solutions to the problem of only working till 4 o'clock.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like I'm being baited into, oh no, you got to stay. Here's more money.
You could say, "I got this useless guy. I'll just move him up the chain."
Move him up the chain. Yeah. Yeah.
I probably would have handled it the same way you did.
Yeah.
What can I do to help you? Do you want me to make some calls?
I don't know where you're going to go, but
Well, maybe he could go work for your partner.
no. I mean, no, because my partner has less work than I do. So,
So I feel like you are definitely getting baited. That's my opinion on it.
I didn't take the bait. We have this other guy who we brought on a month ago, maybe a month and a half ago, and I probably said 10 words to him since he started with the company. I let my foreman, my all-stars, do the talking for me, and he's good, man. I'm like, how is he? He's like, yeah, he's good. He can run the shovel, he can run the skid steer. He's good. Right?
Is this the French guy?
No. So the French guy used to be a stripper.
Sick. So Bill that works for me used to be a stripper.
What is it with landscaping and being a stripper? Do you think you go back to stripping after being a landscaper? Or
You need the additional income, so you're in shape, working outside, tan.
so the money
nights.
for stripping is so
works
bad
perfect.
to be a landscaper?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. I've lost track of what we were talking about. My brain is fried.
You guys
you're
want
talking
to
about
plan H&A right now?
being a
Yes.
stripper,
Yeah.
and a landscaper.
Yeah.
I can see how they're definite like crossover skills.
Yeah.
Have you ever hired a stripper that wasn't a good landscaper?
I think this is my first stripper. So you're right. No, I haven't.
Maybe this should be the next qualification. Have you been a stripper?
It wasn't on his resume.
If you were to go to the Ridge Lake YouTube channel, there's a video of Bill stripping on the YouTube channel showing all of his
Polo.
skills.
Really?
What? Yeah, there's a Magic Mike video from the Ridge Lake days, and Bill's on there because he's been around that long, and he's showing off his skills.
You mentioned that company got sold. Does the new owner know that video exists with their company name on
No fucking clue.
it?
I own the YouTube channel. I have all the codes and all the shit to it. There's like 100 videos there. One of the people that's in those videos still works there. I don't know. That's a unique situation. Like if I started the YouTube channel, I doubt it was part of the sale of the company. So do I own that YouTube channel? I'm the one that started it.
Yeah.
And then even crazier, I don't know if I still have an email or codes that would get me into it. So is there any way to even say this new owner decided to sue me over it? I don't even know if I could fucking take it down because I don't know. I haven't done anything with it in 10 years. It's just existed. There's an argument it's good for them. Maybe it brings in business. All they do is pour concrete now. So maybe it's good for the concrete business. I don't know.